right now I'm reading Naughty or Nice. I am reading The Highly Paid Expert, and I'm reading the 22-Day Revolution by Hey Loves. So I'm coming to you with the video, I call it my Janelle bookshelf. I pretty much share the books and things that I read on my Instagram page whenever I'm reading them, and sometimes on Twitter. And a lot of the times people ask me what are my thoughts about the book that I'm reading, and if it's been a lot of time in between when I shared a previous book, people will ask, Janelle, what are you reading now? So I thought it would be great to do a Janelle bookshelf type of video where I share what I'm reading as I'm reading them, or do a review of it, or just share with you what it is I'm reading, and then if there's questions or whatever, I can answer that in a later video. So I'm making an effort to do as much as I can in 2016 on my YouTube channel, because I do felt like I neglected it for a while, and I don't want that to happen. I want to have a wide variety of things going on here, so you all get to see the parts of me that people are seeing on my other social media platforms. And with that being said, please follow me on my other social media platforms so that you don't miss out on the every day-to-day things that are happening that don't necessarily require a video. Okay, so I am reading 3 different books. Now, it may be unusual for some of you to read several different books at the same time, but it's very common for me to read different books in different categories at the same exact time, and not finishing any one of them first before going on to the other. So when it comes to enjoyment, I tend to read those type of books on my Nook. And when I say enjoyment, I mean the book that doesn't really teach me anything. It's just pure entertainment. Usually that type of book for me is like raunchy, lusty, erotica romance. That's the type of book that I pick up for entertainment. The lustier, the sleazier, the more like sexual, the better. And I know, depending on your views of that kind of stuff, you probably like, Janelle, oh my God. But I'm telling you, like, that's what I love for entertainment. I love the books that make you shut your thighs, clench your pearls, and you're just like, oh my goodness, they do that. So right now I'm reading Eric Jerome Dickey, Naughty or Nice, and this book per se so far isn't really falling into the raunchy category, but I do like Eric Jerome Dickey, and I've read some of his books in the past, and being that it's the holiday season, I felt like Naughty or Nice would be a great book to purchase. It's older. He has a new one that came out this year called Naughtier or Nice, which I believe is like the sequel of this, or part 2, or like a spin-off. I don't know exactly if it's the same characters or whatever, but right now I'm learning about... Whoa. What was that? But right now, there's 3 sisters in this book, and they have like a lot of drama going on. So even though it's not really lusty yet, I hope it gets there. But even if it doesn't, it is entertaining thus far. And I tend to read these types of book mainly when I'm traveling. So I'll always invest in another Nook book when I'm gonna be on a plane, and I know that there's gonna be time in an airport, on the plane, after the airport I'll read it on the ride, and then in the hotel, things like that. So I picked that up before I went to my family vacation. Next, I am reading The Highly Paid Expert, and this is by Debbie Allen. And this is the type of book that I'm reading as a professional development. So I am an entrepreneur. I am also an expert. And I got this book because it talks about turning your passion, skills, and talent into a lucrative career and becoming the go-to authority in your industry. Being that I am, you know, clawing my way to the top in my business to be that authority right now, as when it comes to beauty, Black beauty, women of color, natural hair, I am looking to always enhance my craft, to get better at what it is I'm doing, to do what I do better, to start doing something that would make me better, and just being open to new possibilities and opportunities. So I got this book. I really enjoy it. So far, I'm only on chapter 4, and it's definitely one of the type of reads that if you're already in the business, it reminds you of how well you're already doing and gives you some reminders of what you should do more of if you kind of like let those go on the wayside, as well as depending on where you are in your business, which for me, I'm at that point where I've grown to a certain level and now I want to surpass that from not necessarily the celebrity side, but from a monetary side. It's now telling me about creating different streams of income to help grow my business. And one of the main points is a product. And I'm at that point now where I want to have some type of product so that when I'm on the stage, I can start selling from the stage. And this book is where I'm reading right now is talking about exactly that. So it was just divine because this was not a book that was recommended to me. I have not seen anyone talk about this book at all. I, in fact, was looking at a bunch of other books, but then saw this book on the table. And of course, The Highly Paid Expert popped out at me. And then I picked it up and put all the other books back. So it was just right on time that I found it. So you see, I'm reading something for entertainment in those moments when I can't be studious. When I read something like this, I have my notebook out and I'm literally taking notes. I have my highlighter out and I'm highlighting and I am making little notes in the sidebar and I'm just like really studying. So this is something that I dedicate some time to every week to read, you know, 1 or 2 hours a week, and I read as much as I can. And then I also tweet my thoughts and a lot of the things that I'm internalizing as I read it. So definitely follow me on my Janelle B. Stewart Twitter because those are the type of things that you're going to miss out. You know, those random things that I read and learned. And when I internalize those things and I sit and I reflect, I just sometimes just go in on Twitter and just share so much of what I'm thinking and what it inspired me to feel. So my lighting is going to be a little different because my larger light the bulb just blew. So I'm working with some of my, you know, backup lights. So, yeah, I talked about my entertainment reading and my professional self-growth reading, and then I have my health reading. So I'm now reading the 22-Day Revolution by Mark Borges. And I actually heard about this book because somebody that I know, I saw them and they looked incredibly different, like a totally different person, and they had lost so much weight. And I was, at that time, I was training for my half marathon, and I also looked a little bit different. So when they saw me, they were like, girl, you look great. And I was like, boy, you look great. Like, what's going on? What are you doing? And they talked to me about that they went vegan and how much they've been learning about plant-based lifestyle and so on. Now, at the time, I definitely wasn't in a place to think about going vegan. I was training for a half marathon, and I still am not at any way, shape, form in a place where I'm considering going vegan or plant-based diet or anything like that. But what they were telling me about their studies through this book is what motivated me to pick it up. I've purchased many books about weight loss. I've purchased many books about diets. I've purchased many books about fat burn and fitness. And I also subscribe to several fitness, health, running magazines. So I am constantly working and educating myself on nutrition and fitness and health. And that's how I've learned so much about my body and my body fat and how to eat properly without making such, you know, great changes to your diet, how to manage my weight. Like, I know what to do to lose 10 pounds easy, like easy. I know how to do that. And I know how to manage myself when my weight fluctuates down and up. And I've learned a lot. I understand what the value of certain foods are. And I understand the value of eating a certain way. Like I mentioned when I talked about my Super Shred, that Super Shred, even if I don't do Super Shred diet every single day of my life, one of the things that I took away from that book was the time management with eating and how that affected and impacts my body way beyond just eating, you know, on a schedule, but that type of schedule has helped me so much and has been integral in my continued success with my weight loss. So anyway, I'm just saying all that to say that I don't want anyone to think I'm going vegan because I'm talking about this book. But what I am definitely learning about this book so far is the value in being open to changing your habits. I think for me, because I've gotten to a place where I've learned a lot about my body and I'm happy with who I am, and I've learned how to eat properly. I still have a lot of ways to go. I don't necessarily deprive myself of anything that I want, but I feel like there is a value in focusing more on a plant-based diet. I'm definitely at a place in my life where I enjoy meat, and I had gone vegetarian for several years, and then I got pregnant with my children and I was not able to keep up that because I was craving meat. Like, my body was craving it, whether it was the iron in the meat, whether it was the additional protein in the meat, or just I was craving it because I was pregnant. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I basically, when I got pregnant, I no longer was a vegetarian, and I just have not gone back to being a vegetarian. And that was 4 years ago. My son's going to be 4 years old next week. Oh my God. So anyway, the more I read and learn about things, the more it puts me in control because I have understanding. Yes, I understand if you eat plant-based, it's going to make you a healthier person, but that's not enough for the person that I am. I need to really understand a little bit more about what it does for your body. And when I went vegetarian, I inundated myself with literature on being a vegetarian. And that really helped me during that entire 2 years that I was a vegetarian. And really wasn't so much about losing weight. It was about really doing the best for my body. And I don't think I'm ever going to go vegan. I'm not saying never, but I really don't feel like that's a lifestyle that I am going to follow. But learning a little bit more about it will give me understanding and incorporating ways to live healthier, and be it semi-vegan, or I have vegan days. Maybe I'll make vegan choices or have vegan meals. I mean, as it stands right now, I have many meatless meals. In fact, most of my meals are meatless, but I'm just not committed to cutting it out. But my breakfast, if it's a smoothie, is meatless. If it's a cereal, that's meatless. Sometimes I have oatmeal, that's meatless. I'll have an avocado smoothie, a fruit smoothie, vegetable smoothie, all meatless. Often for lunch, I'm having salads. I do have lunches where I have meats, like sandwiches or leftovers where there's meat, but I'll have like sweet potato and broccoli and macaroni and cheese. Not vegan, but vegetarian for sure. And, you know, basically I'm saying is a lot of the times I'm already eating vegetarian. And I'm hoping to learn something out of this book, basically. So I am only on page 30 right now, and this is another type of book that requires study. So this is, once again, not the type of book that I take when I'm just gonna be sitting waiting for something. I definitely will use my phone for that, or maybe if I grab my Nook, I'll read the Nook book. But these are the 3 books that I'm reading right now, and I'm just right a little bit past the beginning of all these 3 books. Definitely let me know what it is you are reading. And, you know, if you're reading multiple books, share the names of them below. If you have questions about the 3 books that I'm reading now, please do ask, because when I finish reading them, if it's something you want, like a review or just talk about it or something like that, I can totally do that. I can't make promises that I'll be able to do them anytime soon, because I can't make a promise that I'll be finished reading these books anytime soon, given the way that I read them.